Very smart.
Welcome to Luke James Traps with me, Luke James, and I am with, I think, no other wrestler has brought me so much joy on my screen. I think in like the last 18 months, 2 years, you've just been a joy to watch, and I think your happiness transcends through the screen. And first question, are you having as much fun as it looks like you are with AEW?
Yes, wrestling is the one thing throughout my entire life, even when I kind of was like step back and I wasn't watching it week to week to week to week, it was always the one thing that I felt like, oh, I'm passionate about this. Like, I like this. And I go through a lot of phases where it's like, oh, I'm kind of into this and I'm kind of into that, but always wrestling from the moment I found it. So to be able to live it is a dream come true. People are always like, oh, I'm living the dream, but I mean it. I am living the dream. And that is really kind of where this character, I mean, it's not really like a character, but where all that stemmed from. It was like every time I go to the ring, I'm like, oh, I get to do this. That's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it comes through the screen and you see it in the matches. The entrance, of course, have to touch on that quickly. The music, for me, I just can't help but do the kick every time I see it as well.
Good. I'm glad.
Talk us how that came about. And for the fans like us, we see the music, we see the entrance, but we never know how that kind of gets formulated. Was that working with Tony, with the music team? Just talk us through that.
So the music that I have is actually left over from my work with Ring of Honor ahead of when Tony bought it. Previously, when I was working there, that was like, they sent me a bunch of songs. They were like, what are you kind of digging? And I was like, this is the one, I like this. So I was using it for a bit. And then finally, when I started working for AEW, I didn't really have any kind of thing that I was doing on the way to the ring. I would just do my own little dance or whatever, just express myself however. And a few people backstage, our coaches, they were like, you really could get the crowd in on this. And so Jerry Lynn was like, you got to do like a clap, get the people to clap. You see a whole stadium of people clapping, it'll blow you away. He's like, we just got to keep doing it. I was like, okay. And then one day when I got the dun, 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 I just felt it out. I was like, oh, we're gonna do this little kick. So that's about where the end of the like routine of it goes. But it is, even that, it's like a little fun. Just let the music guide you.
Because again, from the fan perspective, it doesn't feel like a routine. It just looks like you're going down, having fun. You don't have to superimpose it. It's very natural. I think.
I'm not a great dancer, so that's what you get from me.
So talk us about your actual kind of your route to AEW. I know you're 9-10 years in the industry per se, but how did you get to AEW? You mentioned the Ring of Honor work before. Just what is Willow Nightingale?
Yeah, so I started wrestling. I started training in 2014, and then I had my first match in 2015 with NYWC out in New York, the New York Wrestling Connection. Did the indies there, traveled up and down the East Coast, mostly kind of in the Jersey, Massachusetts area. But little by little, I'd branch out, do some stuff in Chicago, do some stuff in California, some Florida, Texas, whatever. The first TV company I did, I don't know why I did in quotes, it was a television company, it is a television company, was WOW, Women of Wrestling, which David McLean, previously of Glow fame, had kind of recruited me for that. I worked as this character, Eye Candy. Then when I broke my neck, I kind of pulled away from them a little bit. Not that I didn't break my neck there. No bad press to them. They were very kind to me in my time there. Shout out WOW. Then eventually I started doing Ring of Honor and MLW a little bit. And I truly think it was through my work at Ring of Honor that Tony kind of started noticing me, because I was doing extra work during the pandemic, We got a gentleman by the name of Captain Sean Dean who had noticed something in me and was like, hey guys, let's bring this girl in. So I did a few bits of extra work, and it kind of felt like at that point that nothing was going to happen, because there's only so many times that you could be so close to your dream without things clicking that you're like, what else do they want to see out of me?
What do I need to do?
Yeah, and so when Tony finally bought Ring of Honor, there was a lot of stuff up in the air about the Women's Championship, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And Deanna Purrazzo was the Ring of Honor Women's Champ at the time. She couldn't defend it at the pay-per-view, so they had me wrestle Mercedes Martinez for the interim title. And I did not walk away victorious in that. But in a sense, I did, because Tony had invited me to TV that same week, and they said, hey, actually, why don't you join the team? And to me, biggest win of my life, because now I am, like mentioned before, I live in the dream. And the ascent from there has been bananas.
What an 18 months it's been. Like the list of people you've wrestled is amazing. I was listening to another interview, wrestling Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
You mentioned the knots in the stomach. What else do you want to do? What else is going to give you that knots in the stomach feeling again going forward?
You know, that's a great question. There's one of my big icons who's still wrestling is Aja Kong.
Okay.
And so that is kind of like a dream match for me.
Forbidden Door London 2025.
We'll see. Let's put it out there. Let's manifest it. Hear that, Tony? A big inspiration for me as well has been Sarah Del Rey, who is not actively wrestling, so I don't foresee that happening at all. But I feel I would be remiss if I did not mention that. But in terms of like accomplishments, I would love to continue to wrestle internationally. I think it's so great that with AEW, I do get to wrestle for our partners at New Japan, Stardom, CMLL. Because when I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to wrestle internationally, I was like, well, I guess it's just TV week in and week out now. But I've been able to see the world more than ever before through working for this company, and I'd like to keep that up. I would like to, I've been the TBS champion. I would love to do that again, but I would also love to be the AEW World Women's Champion. Just continue to chase gold.
Who would you rather
be
face?
The champion.
We've got a big women's title world championship match on Sunday at Mariah May and Toni Storm. Mm-hmm. Who would you have your eye on out of those two? I can see Mariah over there, but I know you're not scared.
The one thing I will say is I have faced both Toni Storm and I have faced Mariah May. And it is very humbling to say, but I have not beaten either of them yet. So,
plenty of time.
So I think whoever, I'm up for the challenge.
I love it. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck for the big match on Sunday as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.